is an Unspoiled Network podcast. This is Unspoiled, covering Penny Dreadful, Season 2, Episode 7, Little Scorpion. In this episode, Ethan Chandler wears the fuck out of a sweater. Welcome to Unspoiled.
I forgot how the theme song goes. Sorry.
I was like, is that the Walking Dead theme song? It sounded like for a second.
It sounded like Wayne and Garth doing their flashback noise.
Yeah, it does. I can't do violin noise with my mouth.
No, that's a difficult one to pull off.
Yeah, it is.
Welcome to the sweater episode, everyone.
Yeah, that's what this is. I figure that we can pretty much end the podcast now, because that was the summary of the whole episode. Thanks for coming, and make sure to listen next week. Bye, guys.
When Ethan will not be wearing this sweater.
Because I will have ripped it off his body.
Yes, exactly. How Vanessa manages to not do exactly that is beyond me.
This bitch, listen. She is in this fucking house with this man who's chopping wood and probably smells amazing. Wearing this sweater.
His fucking eyes.
And there's a fucking thunderstorm outside. No, you do not push him away from you. I don't care about your demon. Get over it.
Whatever.
He can handle it. If anybody can handle it, it is Ethan Chandler. You'll be fine.
I would succumb to a demon faster than I could get on that dick. To get on that dick.
And this is like kind of making me weird about the end of the other episode where it seemed like they fucked and now it seems like they never fucked. But they sure looked at each other like they wanted to fuck, but it just didn't happen, I guess. So I'm like, well, guys, like, maybe you could like let your demons fuck each other at least. So you could like kind of get it out of your system. Like maybe she can like let herself get possessed and he can turn into a werewolf and they can fuck in their like transformation forms. Yeah.
Wow, bestiality.
I know some people on fanfics would like it.
He's not exactly like transformed in that sense though. When we see him like eating the sheep later, he looks human but with like a bit of a wolf face.
Yeah, he's not like
he's a little wolfy in the face
with like a giant crazy like rented Halloween costume on his body.
I might have to cut that out because I'm not sure if Chris listens to this and if he has gotten there yet.
To Oz in the costume?
Yeah, has he?
He has. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Oz has been a werewolf.
I have not. No. I have not been following along to where they are in the show, so I'm like,
no.
I'm not even sure that Chris even like
No, I did the werewolf reveal episode with them. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure Chris even like listens to this show anyway.
Yeah.
To juxtapose also like how hot Ethan is in this episode. Like, you know that little scarf she's always wearing around her head? Well, like in my culture, like a lot of older women, especially widows, cover their hair like in a similar fashion. So all I could think of was like, wow, she reminds me of an older Portuguese woman. And then there's fucking Ethan wearing the fuck out of that sweater. So like, I think, and like, even though I am gay and I don't find women attractive, Vanessa Ives is a very attractive woman. So like, I never really like have to like, she doesn't have to appear ugly for me to even think Ethan's hotter. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but like,
I don't know. There are some scenes where she looks really pretty incredible. The scene where the thunderstorm starts and she's by the window, they do some interesting lighting choices there that really make Ava Green look especially ridiculously gorgeous. So
see, it's funny that you say that because I was looking at that thinking that she looked sick. Like, and I thought that was purposeful on their part, was that they were trying to make her look like she was really gaunt and ill.
Well, I mean, she is just really gaunt. Like, I think
yeah, but it just like it
really
felt really like it felt like they were purposefully emphasizing it because of the way the light was on her cheekbones. It made them look like blades, basically.
Yes, they did.
Maybe it's just a difference in the screen that we were looking at. I just thought it was a really interesting cinematography choice. For like everything that he was saying to be punctuated with those flashes of light on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The interesting thing too is like that was the beauty standard back then. Like you were supposed to look like you had the plague, basically, but you didn't really have the plague.
It's a fine line between looking like you have consumption and actually dying of consumption.
Yeah,
so
it's like
tough.
how everybody was supposed to look like a heroin addict in the 90s.
Yep.
Which I think is basically what the Victorian era was also too. Like you were supposed to look like you're riddled with opium, but not with the addiction.
It's not opium. It's just a laudanum addiction. Calm down.
Laudanum.
I can kick it anytime I want.
I'm gonna take a laudanum now and relax on my chase lounge.
So welcome to the show, everyone. We didn't introduce ourselves. My name is Natasha.
I'm Maggie.
And I'm Dan.
And I've really enjoyed this episode a lot. This was a fun one to rewatch. Because it's never like any of them are a chore to rewatch, but there are definitely ones that are hard to rewatch. I'm just like, I don't really want to do this again. And this episode opens with me discovering that Ethan does not know he's a werewolf. Which is a shock.
Yeah. I think like he knows there's something going on, but he doesn't know what it is. So nobody's ever informed him of the specifics.
Nobody's ever survived to tell him the next morning what the hell happened.
And one day he was like, wait, I live in a house with chains in the basement. Maybe
this would be a good idea.
Time to try and figure this out.
Which is funny because
Daddy will do that with me.
Because Ethan clearly knows he's at least bisexual or sexually fluid before he was a werewolf.
Before he was a werewolf.
Before he knows that, but he does not know that he's a werewolf.
People come to different realizations about themselves at different times in their life, and I think that's fair.
I just I can't get over. I'm sure that it is just a matter of practicality that somebody just wasn't around to tell him. But you wake up in, the Mariner's Inn and there is fucking, 8 bodies just within view of the camera, at least. And they are ripped to shreds.
Yeah. Well, he clearly knows what it is that he's doing. He just doesn't have any confirmation about what actually happens, what he's actually turning into.
But it's like he doesn't quite know what he's doing either, because when the detective says there was cannibalism involved, he flinches.
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought he flinched because it was an unwelcome reminder. But it turns out he flinches because he wasn't sure of that, I don't think, until somebody told him. And then he's like, so that is happening. Awesome. Cool. Get to put that on the list. That is a lot to fucking unpack there. And I just feel really bad for him, because in a lot of ways it feels like he's almost got it worse than Vanessa, in that she's at least in there somewhere when this is happening and remembers
and awares of it.
Yeah.
And this one, it just
be
feels
so
like
out of control.
Goes, when you get abducted, they say they have that sense of time of loss or whatever. At least that's what people say when they get alien abducted.
Lost time. Yeah. I thought you just meant abducted, somebody grabs you at the grocery store and you just lost time. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No. I meant alien abducted. Sorry. And I know I'm saying adducted and that's a completely different word, but I have trouble with mouth sounds sometimes with English. So abducted. Okay.
Abducted.
So they were alien abducted and they lost time. So imagine mentally you're just checked out. You go to sleep basically, and then there's this wolf thing, And so I wonder if like he like had to sit down one day and like write down, okay, so this time it was 3 bodies, 1 body, like, you know, like, and like maybe slowly trying to piece this together. But I imagine like, Ethan, we know you have the ability to go to a library because you've checked out books before. You were looking up Arabic shit. You couldn't just like go through like, I don't know, like
practically any book of lore.
Any book of lore, or like maybe that time I got bit by a wolf, or I don't know how he got bit. But like look back on his life and be like, okay, what?
Let's put some clues together.
Yeah,
here.
this is like the question, right? Because like I said in another episode, that this does not feel like he got bit by a wolf and now he's a werewolf, because that would make sense. That wouldn't make sense that he doesn't know why this is happening to him. It wouldn't make sense that he apparently the like werewolf thing doesn't occur to him at all. So
I think he knows to like something, and that it's fucked up.
Yeah, but so I just don't like what the only thing that it could be is like a genetic thing, or it's just chance, like he was chosen the way that Vanessa for some reason was chosen, which is, you know, super frustrating because that's like you can't do anything about that. What's that?
I was gonna say, which would imply their fate, because they keep calling him fucking the god's wolf and shit like that. Do you think that like maybe his wolfy daddy did sit him down and give him the talk?
That's kind of what like I am just startled that it turns out that he doesn't even know what he is, because I thought that his dad was trying to bring him back to the States because he does know what Ethan is and is trying to like help him, and that still may be the case, but if it is, like, I don't, the only thing I can think is that Ethan must think his father wants to hurt him in some way, or wants to use him to hurt other people. Because I don't really know what it could be that makes him so determined to avoid going home. And there's a real resentment to it, the way that he responds to everybody who's coming for him. So yeah, I really can't figure out, unless his father, like, it is a genetic thing. His father goes through this also, and that's part of what he's trying to tell him. But I feel like that would it, like, how old is Ethan? He feels like he's like 28, 30 in this, right? I feel like that would have happened a while ago. Like, you know, I imagine wolfiness starts to come out during puberty. That's how I figure that it's like magic in Harry Potter, where, you know, you start to grow up and there it is.
You know, it's
I don't know. I'm kind of lost with this.
It's a joke in the trans male community that like the second puberty is basically like a werewolf transformation because of the body hair and shit. So when that song like Werewolf Bar Mitzvah came out, like that's our it's very pops with the Tumblr crew for trans guys.
Oh my gosh, that's
spooky,
so
scary. I love that, because that's the title of the most recent review that we have on iTunes is Spooky Scary.
Oh really?
Scary.
Yep.
Not boys too becoming men becoming wolves.
So
you know Donald Glover wrote that song?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's a genius.
He's too talented. Can't with Donald Glover.
So Simbene is here basically being like, hey, bruh, look, you're probably a werewolf. It's fine. I've seen shit like this. I know who you are. It's all good. That's basically like the extent of his entire... He has this amazing monologue, but that's basically like what it is. And then Ethan is like, so tell me what you saw. And I'm like, that sucks. Man, getting that news secondhand. No bueno. And we go to our credits, and then we have Mr. Infuriating, which is my new nickname for Malcolm.
He's the worst in this scene.
Oh,
seriously.
My God.
Punch him.
I know you're like...
Yeah, I know he's like under witchcraft or whatever, but still, like the fact that nobody has punched him, like Victor looks like he wants to actually like really get up in his face, which it's Victor. So
I know
that's how bad he's being. That Victor wants to start a fight with Malcolm.
Like, so he immediately is all like Victorian era, it's female hysteria. Do you think this is a chicken or the egg situation? Because you mentioned the witchcraft, and that was what, like, I basically nailed the head. Like, do you think this is the witchcraft, that he's being an obtuse prick, or is he like, was he always an obtuse prick secretly?
No, he's like never doubted her.
No, I don't think so. I agree.
You know, like he's definitely been a dickhead in a myriad of different ways. But in terms of her saying, I experienced this thing and it didn't feel right, he has never been patronizing to her about that. So I 100% think that this is the witchcraft.
Because he's like a hair's breadth away of going like, the vapors. She was just overcome with them.
she was overstimulated is the word.
Yes, he literally said that.
What does that even mean? You know, like, I just, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I think that it's definitely the witchcraft thing. I also love that Vanessa's like, I'm going to leave. And he's like outraged that she doesn't think it's safe here. And I'm like, it was what, 3 days ago that you had a couple of witch bitches just fucking bounce out your front fucking door, buck ass naked with her hair in their hand? Yeah, I think that she can be excused for not feeling super safe here, bud. Dude. And then when she says that she's going to leave and he throws his little fit, Mr. Lyle just real low key, maybe don't tell us where you are. I'm like, oh man, you are not keeping this like I feel like it's just gonna be like one more episode before everybody finds out that he was part of this thing, unwilling or not, you know.
But I still will give him credit, because like he can't, like, he's technically not gonna lying when he says, I don't know where Miss Ives went to, you know, like if those witches ask him.
He's trying to like find the line between where his loyalties actually lie and what he's unfortunately kind of trapped in. He's trying to sneak down that middle line as well as he can, and keep her safe as much as he can, even while he has to say things that he doesn't want to say. So saying stuff like, just don't tell me where you are. So then I won't have to tell them where you are. Let's play it that way.
Well, for me, it's not like, I get that, but I feel like saying, don't tell us where you're going is so obvious. Like, maybe just like, you know, be like, I would rather not know where you're going. I think that's probably safer for you. Frame it that way. But the way that he says it is so baldly, like, maybe one of us is maybe going to tell somebody. So maybe you shouldn't tell us. But
at the same time, Malcolm is acting so sketchy and weird that I think it would be easy enough for him to play that off as like, maybe don't tell any of us, including that guy over there who's being weird as fuck, where you're going, because I don't trust what he's up to.
That's true.
I don't think Vanessa would listen to what Lyle was saying and think he was talking about himself. I think she would be like, he's talking about Malcolm because Malcolm's being real weird.
Oh man, Malcolm,
because he's being real weird.
Much. I'm really glad that we like went away from him and didn't have to see more of that this episode, because I was just getting pissed off. And it's another moment of me just being so frustrated that I'm feeling at all like I want to high five Victor. Why? Victor, he keeps doing this to me. Like, I just fucking hate him and find him so creepy. And then he says some shit and I'm like, yeah, fuck, yes, you are correct. Shut up. Like, I get mad about it. You ridiculous man.
When an episode makes you agree with Caliban or Victor, you die a little inside.
Yeah, bad things are happening at that point.
And like Ethan steps in and is like, well, I'll go with you to like wherever you're gonna go. And he does it with his puppy dog eyes, and it's amazing.
It's funny when you say it because it's like literal and it's a figure of speech, so it works on 2 levels. I like it.
Yep, that's what I told you, I'm working these werewolf puns as much as we can. Now that it's been revealed, and now, like, you know, because like I got yelled at because I almost revealed it, and then it kind of like, it was kind of obvious on Nail on the Head. I will still defend that point, but now all the werewolf puns are coming out, all of them.
The where puns.
Where puns.
Where puns.
Okay, so conversation. We're going to leave. Why is he going to go with you? Because he wasn't there at the ball, and it doesn't feel like they were hunting me when he's around. All right, that's fine. Also, I'd like to fuck him. Subtext. So,
yeah, subtext.
So she has a little chat alone with Victor, and she tells him that, you know, if he needs me, don't hesitate and come with me. Gives him her address, and she says, and be patient with your cousin. It's all so new to her. London and all the bright, shiny prizes it offers. She'll soon grow tired of them. And I'm like, I really appreciate her caring about Victor the way that she does, but knowing all of the context just makes her being concerned about him feel so like she's complicit in this awful thing, even though I know she's not.
Yeah.
It's just like very hard for me to separate those. And we jump ahead to her and Ethan outside of this dreary ass cottage on this dreary ass day. Yeah. But it's just like, the weather, there's this moment where the fucking cart is pulling away and they're just standing there at the front gate staring out at the moor. And it's like really raining and gross. And I'm like, guys, you don't need to keep mean mugging. Go inside. It's okay.
Do you think, like, honestly, I would not mind living at that cottage.
I would.
Except for when it catches on fire. That makes it seem like the roof situation is not super safe.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they used to thatch those roofs
with thatch roof cottages. And then Trogdor, the Burninator, comes by, and now your whole fucking house is on fire. He's burninating the countryside.
He's burninating the moors now, you know?
I'm a fan of trees, and this place having that one dead, creepy tree outside, that's not going to do it for me. I definitely need some more trees and, like, a garden, because it's clear that this place does not have the kind of earth that sustains anything that's not, like, a thistle, basically. So, yeah. The house itself is cool. It's just where it is. Nah. I need some more sun, too.
Beachside. I live in a dreary beachside town anyway, so
beachside.
It's kind of home. Yeah,
but this isn't beachside. What are you talking about?
The moors are sandy enough that they're kind of close.
Sandy? Are moors sandy? I think you are inaccurate, sir.
Well,
somebody look up the geology of a moor.
I will. But she grew up seaside, like where she grew up was by the sea, but I think the moors are slightly different. Look up the moops.
The moops, indeed.
I'm googling too. I'm googling imaging the moors.
I always thought that they were just like
it's a marsh. They're marshes.
Yeah. Marshes have sand. Like 90% of Massachusetts is marshes.
Marshes are like mud. And like, you know, waist deep water. It's not.
There's peat. There's not really
sand. I was totally going to use the word peat, and then I was like, I'm not sure if that's really what it is.
Yeah, here's what we've got. Heathland and moorland are the most extensive areas of semi-natural vegetation in the British Isles. The eastern British moorlands are similar to heaths, but are differentiated by having a covering of peat. And Scottish moors are generally heather moors, but also have extensive covering of grass, cotton grass, mosses, bracken's a good word, and undershrubs such as crowberry, with the wetter moorland having sphagnum moss. That sounds
sphagnum. That's my peaks. Yeah.
This looks dirty. Merging into bogland. It's SPHAGNUM. That's,
you know what I might be thinking of? Because
seems like spunk and cum put together into one word. Sphagnum.
Yeah,
I hate the word spunk when it's used that way. It's the worst.
Jeez, though, like, ugh.
When someone says like I have had an elderly gentleman at like work say like, "Oh, you're full of spunk," when I was like really sick or something, and I was like, So like
you
in
have
my head,
no idea.
Was Griffin McElroy with like, you know, I'm young, hung, and full of, you know. You know what I must be thinking of? I think because like in Massachusetts, like we have estuaries and they lead into the marshes, and the estuaries come from the ocean, and there's like a big thing of sand basically, and it goes to the marshland. So that may be what I'm thinking of. I'm just saying the moors look like home, and I could probably make my home in the moors.
They are really beautiful. Like, I will say that. And it's definitely the kind of place that I would like to visit eventually, because I've like lived in England for a little while, but I never really got to go out into the country. I was totally without transportation, and I was not going to spend the money on a ticket out there just to wander around and go, it's pretty. So I never really got to check out any of these areas. It was just London. But anyway, so they are settling in and playing house together here. And
they really are. It's so adorable. It's adorable, them playing house. And the music that's playing, and they're planting stuff, and it's just the
And she's showing him plants, and like he's just like picking at something, and like I want that stalk in his mouth while
Stop. He's gotta not do that, because come on.
Because then we'd all come. Our spunk would leave our bodies.
Oh my God.
Would leave our bodies.
So bad. Like, seriously, I can't with this whole scene. Like, when with the shooting and the smile on his face, and then she's reaching around to his butt and pulling bullets. No.
So it's really unfair too that he's got this like amazing. He's got this tweed jacket over a V-neck sweater. It's a different sweater here. He still looks amazing, and she has this god awful puff sleeved blue like.
It seems like she pulled that out of the cut wife's trunk.
Yeah, she's really not looking her best.
It looks like somebody just went into like a Goodwill. Like that looks like a coat that somebody wore during the 80s. Like, it doesn't. I know that it's period. I know that it's accurate, but there's something about it that feels wrong. I think it's you know what it is? She's wearing color. We never see her in anything but black and red, and this is the first time I think. Like,
she's happy there. Like she told Ethan, like she kind of belongs there almost.
Yeah,
she wants to be dressed in kind of dowdy florals or whatever, you know, just kind of being a country witch. I mean, that's just what it boils down to. She kind of just wants to do that. She's happy out there. Except
she said,
for,
like,
you know, the demon possession and stuff.
Like she told Ethan, like, life's not all tarot cards and demon glyphs or some shit like that, you know.
Yeah,
they had a tender, cute. He had a cute little smile when he saw her doing a rabbit snare.
Yeah,
he was like, "Oh my God,
you're gonna make somebody a cute little wifey," and I'm like,
a little wifey,
sure.
And you know, everyone did #waifu.
And also, she has this little moment here. It kind of pissed me off, to be honest. So she has this moment where she's talking about Malcolm and the fact that he doesn't seem that upset about his wife. And, you know, he tries to make it be like, oh, maybe he didn't want to go to the funeral because it was too painful. And she looks at him and says, you know better. And I thought she was talking about, you know, weird witchy woman that showed up. But instead she's acting just like, oh, he's just in love, so it's not really getting to him. And then she says something about how, for the love of God, I should let him be happy. Like, she's blaming herself as if it's like the conversation that she had at the ball never happened. Or like she doesn't remember it. You were very pointed, Vanessa, in the way that you talked to that woman. I really thought you were basically accusing her. Like, low-key, I know what you're doing, bitch. And now it feels like that's not even a factor in the conversation. If it is, she's just apparently not willing to let him know about it. But I have a hard time believing that she wouldn't confide that to him. I don't know why she wouldn't, because she's told him the whole story of her living here and everything, and, you know, the witches. And So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me narratively why she wouldn't tell him. So the only thing that I can think is that either she's like rethinking the intuition that she had, to which I again say, what the fuck, because that's basically her doing what Malcolm did with suddenly like doubting herself when you never have before and you shouldn't. Or something about the way that she was like hunted and passed out from that weird vision of blood rain made her forget, which I don't think is it. So I'm just kind of not sure where to go with that, because I really thought that she had kind of figured it out, like, I don't know. Anybody?
Yeah, I don't know either. I think just somebody different wrote the script for this one. There wasn't enough consistency between the script writers for the two. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
And I think too, to touch back on the sweater. Okay.
Oh my god.
I did a little note of like other movies that have men in sweaters that maybe still didn't pull it off as good as Ethan did. And I would like to ask if I may read them.
The movies that they were in that didn't pull it off as good as Ethan did?
Movies where guys wore sweaters, but they didn't pull it off as good as Ethan did.
Okay.
Okay. We have recently Spectre with James Bond. While a dashing sweater, I don't think he pulled it off that good.
I don't know. He looks pretty good in pretty much anything he puts on his body or not.
But as good as Ethan?
No.
It's just different. He's got that, like, I've seen it all kind of thing going on where Ethan's still young enough to be, like, mischievous. James Bond's too beaten down to be mischievous anymore. He's just like, fuck you, give me a shot. It's 9 a.m. I don't care.
Would you say Ethan is young, hung, and full of...
You know?
There's Elf with Will Ferrell.
Why would you even... I'm going to pretend that just didn't happen. I'm going to pretend that was never said.
So did he pull it off as good as Ethan?
Who?
No. Will Ferrell.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Exactly. This didn't happen. Moving on.
Fine. I won't reveal my third because there's no third.
There were just two, and one of them was Elf.
Was Will Ferrell?
Do you know how hard it was to like find there's not. So that's the thing. Not a lot of actors wear sweaters in their films, and I think it's because it's the worst. Like I had to it took me years to find a good sweater, and I have a good sweater where I don't look like a frumpy asshole in it. And I don't know who in the costume department sold their soul to the devil to get that sweater. But it is perfect on Ethan.
Well, the thing is though, Ethan looks like Ethan. Most people don't look like that. So most people look like a schlub. It's the same as a teeny bandage dress. A girl that looks like Vanessa is going to look banging as hell. But most people, it's not going to look that way. It's just it's him. It's not the sweater. The sweater's just oh, thank God. The sweater's thankful to Ethan for wearing it and making it look so good.
Do you think every, strand was just oh my God, thank you?
Probably. I would be. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if you got to pick who wore you if you were a piece of clothing? Hell yeah, I would pick somebody like Ethan every time.
Yeah.
Oh, forget it. But I just, like I said before we started recording, I have a thing for neck throat area. And
yeah.
Owen has a fantastic neck throat area. And it's very he tends to kind of hide it because he's really self-conscious about having chest hair because he's always thought it was gross. And I am pulling the collar of his shirt down and like nuzzling in his chest hair. I fucking love it. But he thought that I was like kind of lying when we first. He thought I was being nice to like save his feelings, that I didn't really like it, but I was just saying that to him. And I think finally
we talked about this a long time ago about how there was a trend for so long of not letting guys have chest hair in movies and TV that I think it really like messed up a whole generation of guys.
I can pinpoint it. I think it started in 1997.
That seems about right.
I want to say that's when like before manscaping became a word.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like a turning point.
The boy bands.
Yeah, yes. It was the boy bands. Like, we talked about how when we were watching Twin Peaks and they showed Cooper with his shirt off and he had chest hair, and I was thinking to myself, 5 years later, they would have made him wax that off because he's like the sort of character who doesn't seem like he should have chest hair in that sort of paradigm, He should be youthful and smooth-chested like all these other guys are walking around without their shirts on in 1997. Things seem to have swung back the other way a little bit, but I think it messed with people's heads. It really did.
I mean, we were at a movie the other day, and Owen elbowed me and pointed, and I was like, what? And he goes, he has chest hair. I don't even remember what it was, but he was like really excited to see it on screen, and I was trying to tell him, like, I'm not just saying this, babe. And now I think that he's caught me a couple times staring at his chest hair at the bottom of his, like, because he wears these V-neck polos that he unbuttons a couple buttons sometimes when he's been working, and he'll catch me like staring.
He's just trying to get.
Well, it's like cleavage to me. Like I just like my eyes just fall and just don't go away, and so now he started to realize, oh, she's serious about this.
I'm getting some chest hair.
Are you?
In like 2 years to realize that you're serious?
I'm telling you,
you were serious about this like the first time we ever conversed about torment. Like,
I think it's like me with like being chubby. That him saying that he thinks that I'm cute, even though I'm chubby. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Like I'll listen to you, but I'm not really like believing you.
We think we're attractive. Like when they say that they think, okay, we're cute despite of, not because of. Like that's the hard part of the mentality, trying to get over that hump of like, because we're like, oh, they think I'm cute despite of insert thing. But yeah, I've been getting some chest hairs. There are 20 of them. I've been naming them. I'm proud of them. I'm fucking proud.
There are 20 of them. I love it.
Yeah, I counted.
Oh, God.
I have to keep a count of this shit.
Oh, I can't wait until the day where you have so many that you're like, I stopped counting. Today's the day. I stopped
naming them. All my babies. They're just gone.
Oh man,
I accidentally plucked one out because I was so like impressed with it, and I was like tugging on it. And I was like, oops, and it came out.
No! The other 19 are yelling, "You killed my brother!"
Oh no, it was the 21st. It was the 21.
Oh, okay. So now you have 20 because got you because you squandered one.
I squandered one.
Oh man. Okay. So
the lost.
So we have that really cute conversation.
We have him telling the story about riding this horse as a kid and then shitting his pants, which is pretty good.
And they're high. This is the part where they're sitting inside and they're super stoned, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, she doesn't smoke nicotine.
Yeah, she doesn't. She says earlier in a different episode that she does not smoke nicotine. So those are hand-rolled marijuana cigarettes.
For jazz cigarettes.
Yes, they're jazz cigarettes.
The jazz is not invented yet.
They're fun cigarettes.
Funnerettes. Doesn't quite work, does it?
You know what's weird too? Like, because her end of the conversation, she talks about dolls and how she doesn't like them, and then she makes fun of their eyes. You fucking taxidermied. And like,
yeah, but I guess that's different. Maybe there's a difference between doing it with human eyes and animals.
Maybe.
I don't know, but I see. I understand
like it's a cute. like it's a caricature of a human, and that's kind of unsettling, I guess, too. But
yeah, I mean, for me, like taxidermied animals are definitely creepy, but they're creepy on another level. They're creepy in terms of the association that I make with the kind of person who would want a taxidermied animal. It's not the animal itself, you know what I mean? Whereas a doll, you can imagine that doll being like deranged and waking up in the middle of the night.
Yes. Do you think like it's kind of ironic that the witch is using dolls?
Yeah, I definitely felt like that had to be on purpose, right?
Oh yeah, that's
I think it kind of was. When I first watched this, I was like, ooh, maybe she like, I don't know, visited her dreams or something, and like she may have had a nightmare one time about dolls, and she's like, that's the thing I'm gonna use.
I don't like I could see if she was born different with basically this like, you know, weight on her shoulders. It's like dolls are one of the kind of fundamental implements of a lot of like classical ideas of witchcraft. I could see her like innately knowing there is something uncool about this and I don't want any part of it. You know what I mean? And I don't even necessarily think that's what it is, but I could definitely see that.
I can see that. Just a note, because I just saw it on the screen, and it's the conversation, so it's relevant to the topic. Ethan's high-waisted pants also, fuck me, like,
you know, and his shoes are cute and his coat is cute. Like everything he wears in this entire episode, I'm like, stop, stop.
He wears suspenders too, and like I think
it's just it's unbearable.
And he wears it old style too. Like it's like, what the fuck?
I love suspenders.
I do too. I used to wear suspenders a lot actually in high school. That was a thing for a while. I inherited like a pair of my grandfather's old trousers that had like old style, like not even like the clip-on suspenders, but like really nice, like button on and everything. Yeah. And so I would wear those with like a, you know, a white tank top and a black bra because I'm annoying and thought that would be super stylish. Yeah. A little bit. And then I had a pair of rainbow suspenders, which was the first thing I ever bought at Hot Topic. Rainbow suspenders. Same. Yeah. And the girl at the girl at Hot Topic was really snotty to me and did not want to stop folding sweaters to come over and help me wring out because she was like, ugh, she's a preppy who's just here to buy rainbow suspenders. And I was like, I hate this store. And now I spend so much money on Funko Pops at that goddamn store. Like,
oh no.
Like 20 years, I guess it's turned itself around.
What if she was waiting for her Ethan to come in and get a sweater? I'm with you on this, Maggie. Like, I am on your side on this. Like, she was
appreciate it.
But I understand the hustle of wanting to get the dick. So I have to kind of acknowledge that. Yeah. Maybe she was waiting for Ethan.
Yesterday, I saw the most amazing thing in a meme about an old man who forgot to bring suspenders. And he used a bungee cord that had a hook on each side, looped through the back belt loop of his pants. And the other hook was hooked to the back of his baseball hat. And,
yeah, I saw that too.
That was some hardcore shit. I enjoyed that a great deal. Anyway, so Ethan says to lock the door, and he runs out and eats a sheep in the most Jello, like cherry Jello CGI shot. That was a bad one. No, I just mostly it was weird to me that he stays looking human. That there's no it's not like an enormous problem or anything. It's surprising to me because it's like there is hardly any transformation really even happening physically. It's happening, but it's just so much less pronounced than what we're used to seeing where, you know, somebody turns into a wolf complete with like hair all over their face and they bust out of their clothes and they have like, you know, they're down on all fours running and he's just like a dude with a wolfy face. And it makes sense that because I had asked the question when he woke up after the Mariners Inn massacre, why he still had his clothes on. And so now I know why. Right. But yeah, it was just really kind of it was weird to me because we've always cut away as he's transformed before in this show. We've never actually seen him running around. And so he's like, you know, taking a bite out of a sheep at this point. I'm taking it as he is actually, this is the full deal. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take it that way or not. If it is supposed to be just the start of his transforming and we're seeing it because he's like, you know, going after a sheep as soon as he can so that he doesn't go after Vanessa. But it's an unusual choice that I don't feel like I've seen before.
I like the idea that he goes after the sheep so he doesn't go back after Vanessa. Like he only needs to eat the ones, like he's a crocodile. You know how like you don't have to be worried about gators most of the time. Like they won't try and eat you most of the time because what they've eaten once, they don't need to eat again for like another 16 hours. So they'll fuck you up, but they probably won't actually eat you. Because they're like, oh, I'm so lazy. I don't want to eat anymore.
I liked the shot because it was very like classic, like horror type cinematography in a way, like old 30s. Like his makeup is very old fashioned-y werewolf-y too, and I like that. And like the shot of him towards the moon, like I just like that.
I've just like that cherry jello. I just can't quite get past.
No, yeah, I know it does. The CGI does not look that great on that blood,
and I feel like I'm the kind of person that doesn't tend to notice real bad CGI, like something that people would complain about on The Walking Dead a lot, CGI blood. And I was always like, oh, that was CGI? Like, doesn't register. So if I notice it, it's got to be pretty bad because that's not something I normally even pick up on. But, you know, that and the weird fake flowers and stuff that they've done here and there, I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm just going to have to stop being eagle eyes. And we go back to Vanessa waking up in the morning and hearing a clunk, clunk, and Ethan is outside chopping that tree down in a Henley. I'm a big fan of Henleys also. Yep. This basically ran the gamut of clothes that I love. Like
I have a collection of Henleys because of Ethan Chandler. Because I was like, what is that shirt? And like I looked it up. It's a Henley. Fuck, now he's in the sweater again. God damn it. I keep looking at the screen and there he fucking is. So like to part the curtain a little bit, like you can like sometimes we watch the show alongside while we're recording. I know Natasha and I do that. I don't know if Maggie does it.
I don't, because I know you both are. So
because and this is the thing, we're fucking getting distracted. Or at least I am.
I was about to say you are. I have my act together, Dan.
You're very professional, and I'm just well. You know what? Again, I had my testosterone shot. I'm like on a hair trigger, I'm young, hung, and full of and like Ethan Chandler is going to be in my dreams tonight.
And can I just say that I was immensely disappointed when he turns around. No chest hair? Like, that's what a Henley is fucking made for, to showcase chest hair, and he doesn't have any. Yeah, he's a wolf man, show! He's a fucking wolf man! What are you fucking doing?
I think he has, like, some around his nipples, if I remember when he got, like, topless. Like, he has that like, the sternum, like, just a little bit on the sternum. He's not much of a hairy boy.
He's kind of, it's like we were talking before we started, right, about his beard and how
he has a bald spot.
His sideburns don't match up with the beard on the bottom of his face. I think he's honestly not a really super hairy guy.
No, he isn't.
They exist.
I freeze framed on some of the things because I am very serious about this podcast. And it looks like it's bald spots. It's not like I thought it was like maybe like a stylistic choice. Like maybe they kind of did a little cut or shave or something like that. No, like he has like it's a legit bald spot.
They should have given him prosthetic chest hair then.
I kind of want to go back and watch the sex scene that he does with Brona in the first season because they show a lot of him in there. We could see if I'll take the bullet on that one. If you guys don't want to, I'm perfectly happy to go back and watch that so I can report.
Yeah, you can also watch the scene with Dorian Gray because he also they both get chestless. Like, I mean, not chestless. They both get shirtless.
They get chestless.
Oh God! Victor Frankenstein is rubbing his hands together. Half my work's done for me.
So yes, if you can do that, Maggie, that would be great.
Okay, I will do some research on where on Josh Hartnett's body he does have hair.
Yes, please.
I wonder. Okay, I also need a note on if he has a nice happy trail because I think we see his gum cutters. I know for a fact. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'll definitely be checking for that.
This is a content.
I think we broke Maggie. Definitely be looking for that. Definitely.
Literally.
God.
Yeah.
Seriously, guys.
This is the content that our listeners want. They want to know the status of everything Ethan Chandler.
Yeah. I don't know who is listening to this who does not want to know that.
I don't know.
There are probably some people. I'm sorry to the listeners who don't want to listen to us talk about Ethan Chandler's chest hair.
I know there's got to be some dudes out there who are like
this episode because my God, it's ridiculous. This man in this episode.
So he's doing the most masculine thing, which is chopping fucking wood, and he's chopping that gross tree that Natasha doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And
Vanessa doesn't really like
tree.
Either.
No. Yeah, Vanessa hates it, so it's like a personal favor that he's doing. He's like, you know what? I'm going to get in some of my. I'm going to do my. Oh,
it's
God!
Arm Day,
what is it when people are annoying and tell you about it all the time? CrossFit. This is CrossFit.
Yeah, fuck CrossFit. Just chop wood. Just go find a tree, preferably not in a national park, and just go fucking chop it.
He tells her because she's like trying to get him to tell her what the fuck is going on with him and why he bounced in the middle of the night and told her to lock the doors and then came back in the morning not hungry. You know, kind of some red flags here. Yeah. And she's pushing and he won't, and he finally just says, you need to learn how to protect yourself. And I'm like, yo, seriously, you sound so much scarier when you say it like that than if you just told her that you turn into a wolf. Like, it's just don't leave it up to the imagination because it's always going to be worse, you know? Anyway, so he's teaching her how to shoot, and she's really fucking good at it. Like
insanely. That doesn't make any sense. And that's when he gets the look on his face. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, the twinkly-eyed look when he looks at her and is like, "You shouldn't be able to be. Look at you, look at you." And he's chewing the thing, and okay, I'm gonna stop talking for a couple minutes
before we get too far into that. I want to say Vanessa says a line that I don't know, like they grab each other, like she grabs him when he's chopping the wood, in a way that we thought they were gonna fucking kiss, we all agree that we thought they were gonna fucking kiss right there. And she goes, you can whisper the things that hurt, about the things that hurt us or something. Let me see exactly because I don't want to butcher it because it's a good line. It makes me feel like a lot of things, and I would like to whisper to a gentleman that thing, kind of thing, especially if he's in pain, because I think he's lashing out right now, and Ethan's in pain because his puppy dog eyes. Okay, so she says we can whisper about those things that hurt us, and he's looking at her really intensely, and then he's kind of like, yeah, you need to learn how to protect yourself, and his fucking puppy dog eyes.
She has this amazing scarf on in this scene that I kind of want. That scarf looks like it's about 12 feet long. It looks actually like a tablecloth, but she's just wearing it as a scarf, and I'm it's fine with
quilt. It's like a quilt, but not.
It's huge. Because, as somebody who is very into scarves, because the back of my neck gets cold for some reason, I have tried many, and, they'll look nice and long, and then once you start to wrap it around, you're like, this is still not enough. And that looks like it would actually potentially be enough. So, that's kind of my white whale is that scarf now.
My white whale is Ethan's dick, but...
Nah. It is white. It's a whale of a dick.
I don't want to know about the.
Do you know how large a sperm whale's dick is?
I have seen a picture of that. I don't need that.
5.5 feet long or something.
I've seen a picture of that. Much. But do you think a sperm whale is also young, hung, and full of
sperm? That's his name. It's right in his name.
That's why.
I like how I'm slowly entering that line all the time. I apologize to our listeners who are probably like doing a count mentally, and they're like, "Fucking Dan!" Like,
so he then throws a bottle up, and of course she nails that too. And she asks if, like, they basically agree to like barter these lessons because he wants to learn how to dance. And when he tells her how to shoot, he says not to make eye contact because it will keep you from doing what you need to do, and that you need to not be human. And when she teaches him how to dance, she's like the opposite of that. You need to keep your eyes on your partners the whole time, which he is quite uncomfortable with and keeps looking bashfully away from her and kicking a rock with his shoe. And them dancing around is pretty much the cutest. And we have like a little, we have like a montage of him continuing to cut down that tree because that is a multiple day job. Dancing again together, her peeking outside at one point and watching him dancing outside alone
by himself. I'm like in love with him. That bit where he's dancing outside by himself, it's the cutest thing, and the look on her face is so sweet. She's just like, oh, he's dancing.
We have a lot more montages of them playing house and cooking, more chopping that tree.
And planting things together, like in the little garden, and dancing.
She yells at him for putting too much salt in the soup, and she turns her back, and he's like, "Fuck you," and throws the rest of it anyway. I was like, "That's right. Yeah. That's my boy."
He's got a great look on his face when he does it too. Oh my gosh!
Like he's so happy with himself. Like he did that. And they have the garden.
Yeah, they're planting a little garden together because they're not going to plant a little garden in her belly, I guess.
Yeah. That tree finally comes down. And then the storm. And then we have a thunderstorm.
Okay, question. Because how the fuck did Mr. Jiggly Pants know that they had I don't know, that just came to mind. I decided Jiggly Pants. That they had a fire. Because
I don't remember.
I really thought that was going to be Evelyn using that dude's body. Like, the way that he said it made it sound as if that lightning strike was directed. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. And, like, once he starts talking about his dogs and shit, I'm like, oh, never mind. But I really... For a second, I did think that it was like, you know, not exactly him. But I don't know. But yeah, that fucking lightning strike, that is some shit. That goes straight down the chimney, basically, and bursts out like a fireball and brings down some beams from the roof. And she has to go outside and get this like little pitcher. It's like so pathetic.
Yeah. Just so a fun fact, that can happen because many times the chimney had the cast iron pot, and cast iron is metal, which attracts.
A cast iron? Oh, like to line the top of it?
No, but like, I learned in my episode of high school with Dan and Rachel about lightning because I have a fear of lightning.
Okay.
That they like, it's like lightning strikes are like a fucking heat-seeking missile. If it can find something fucking metal, like it'll shape to go into like the thing, or like.
So it's going for the pot that's inside the house down the chimney.
What? What are you saying? The lining?
Well, I thought that's what you were talking about. That, like, you know, a lot of chimneys have like a liner inside. But are you talking about the cast iron pot inside the house?
Pot. Yeah, the cast iron pot. That's right there.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I because it like they keep it right there at the chimney base. It's not like they fucking take it out. They probably take it out to clean it, but like they put it right back on there.
Yeah, I just figured it went for the chimney because it's the highest point. But
that's true. But I think it wanted the metal. It
wanted that metal.
It was like us looking for Ethan's D. It was like a heat-seeking fucking missile going straight to that D. It wanted that metal.
Speaking of that D, Vanessa is the only person on Earth who doesn't want it. And
she wants it. Let's not get carried away.
But not as much as us, because she lets her common sense stop her, which I can't.
I agree, but there's a different level of common sense between like common sense. Oh, I shouldn't do this because I have a boyfriend or something like that, or as opposed to common sense. I shouldn't do this because I will get possessed by a demon Egyptian god spirit who makes my life a living hell.
I really think that she should have gone for it.
It's I know, because it's a real close call.
I do think she has that struggle. I do think she has that struggle, especially when we hear Frankenstein say, like, what is love but a
baby
creature?
Don't hurt me.
I was going to say that. Oh my God. That's so pathetic. Oh, you just beat me like a half second.
Can't help it. It pops up like because I have the subtitles on, and that's the thing, that it's just like she's looking at Ethan walking away, and it just says, "What is love?" And that's like, and it takes a minute before the next part of the sentence comes up, and I'm just like, why are you doing this to me, guys? Now it's in my head for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But anyway,
she looks tortured in that moment where she's like, I really want the tea, but I can't because the line is, what is love but a kind of creature waiting to be unbound? And like that kind of like hints at like what you're saying, Maggie, about like the demons inside her just waiting. And she's like, I really want that D, but I might let this thing out.
I want the D, but I might let the D out.
Different D.
And then the D will get me. Whoa,
holy shit.
Was that?
Was that a D?
Oh, sorry. Good now?
Yeah, it just went real crazy.
My
heart literally jumped in my throat because now I was like, fuck, we were talking too much about demons. Now we got a demon.
I used the internal my laptop and I just hit the side of my computer with my finger. That's what it was.
Okay. Yeah. I thought for a minute we had a computer demon. And
no. Another episode of Buffy.
Yeah, I'm Moloch. Surprise.
So he and Mr. Lyle are having a little bit of a chit chat because, he's sitting here contemplating his own bummer of a love life. And Mr. Lyle's like, can we fucking focus here, please? Thanks.
And he hasn't been focusing anything about the fucking mystery here. He's been just gallivanting off with Lily.
And it turns out that they called love the scorpion sting. Interesting. And
Maggie, do you want to do your own version of?
No, I'm good. Okay. I don't need to do a Chamberlain. I actually did one of those earlier today.
Oh, you did?
I did. I had an opportunity to be a skeptic earlier today, so I got it out of my system.
That was your quota? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Natasha and I will camp it up. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, this this is when Victor's his most boring, is him just like staring into space thinking about Lily, and then occasionally getting brought back to Earth by Mr. Lyle, who's like, you can call it whatever you want. He says something like vampire, and Mr. Lyle's like, oh, my name is Legion. And I'm like, oh, brother. I have to confess, I was a little bit bummed out when he's like, and what if I don't believe in God? And Mr. Lyle's like, well, even if you don't believe, the scorpion will still sting you. I'm like, oh, all right, fine. Like, this is my least favorite part of the show, frankly, is this whole thing. Because devil stuff is just not my jam at all.
But do you think, like, you could be an atheist and still believe in werewolves?
Oh, yeah. Like a werewolf doesn't have anything to do with any like religion
higher
or anything.
Power. Yeah.
Silver in lore came from biblical times.
Yeah.
No.
That's so minor in the grand scheme of werewolf.
And like in the various werewolf mythologies, that's not necessarily even effective. Like it's not.
No,
that's picking and choosing depending on who you're talking to. That's effective.
Do you think an atheist could believe in vampires? Because they also they shy away from religious objects.
See, that's another one. That's not necessarily true either. Like depending on the mythologies. And that's why I feel like mostly what you hear, if you want to believe in it, is that the belief of the person holding the object is what empowers it, and not the actual object. So, that feels like a whole independent thing from religion to me. It's just like whether or not you believe it's going to work is what makes it work. And that's sort of like more about, that gets at the heart of what religion is to me, So yeah, I don't think any of those things has anything to do with like having a faith.
I don't think it's a secret that I'm not that religious of anything, but I still secretly believe in demons. Like in the ranking of like things that could possibly be real.
Okay. I believe in
werewolves
ghosts,
are pretty low.
But I don't believe in demons. That's always been one that's just like it's too closely linked with biblical stuff, and I can't get past biblical stuff.
I think like in a historical narrative, I think that the concept of demons or something like otherworldly that was probably not that chill. Because I think they're chill ghosts. I think they're ghosts that you could kick it with and have like a jazz cigarette with, perhaps. But I think that concept is pretty old, and I think just like the Bible just did it their own thing, and like. I think a lot of people do like to lump every demon as to possibly being biblical, but
yeah, I think that's I think you're right that it's much older and they just did their own thing with it, but in pop culture that's always what it's been, and so I can't. Yeah. It's
to separate it,
yeah, not just me separating it, but anytime that I kind of hope they're not going to go in that direction in a show or movie, it still winds up being that direction. So I'm always just kind of like, I would like in some ways to believe in it, like completely separately from all of this baggage, but pop culture won't let me. So I'm stuck with it as it is and thinking it's just annoying. And I'm blaming fucking Sleepy Hollow for that too. Because there goes a show that I was like interested in for like the first 3 episodes, and then they were like, well, this whole thing is pretty much going to be demons, and I'm like, all right, I'm out. Thanks. Bye. So yeah, they have their little chat about all of that, and Victor is putting it together that the Hound is a danger to the devil somehow, because he keeps like writing it over and over and over again as if he's obsessing over it. And
who do you think that Hound is?
I think we knew that already.
We're pretty clear. I don't think they don't know. Victor doesn't know. Mr. Lyle doesn't know. But we come on.
We know because it's the one dude with the puppy dog eyes who we all want to fuck.
The witch has called him that like a bunch of times now. So that's the main thing for me, is just like, even if I hadn't put it together, the show basically had her tell me.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, so they're going to be circling each other for all eternity. And I'm like, see, this is why I don't like this shit. What a bummer. Back to them walking in the woods in his sweet ass sweater that he has now got buttoned up into a kind of funnel neck thing with the overcoat with it. And she's
maybe
talking
it's a chillier day.
Yeah, like it's just super breezy here, you can tell. And she's talking about how she would kind of like to just give up and let the demon take her because she's fucking tired. And
Ethan's like, no.
He just says, okay, so then you give up, then what? And she says, well, then at least I'll know why. And he's got no patience for it. He just says, you're not gonna die while I'm alive. And I'm like, you are basically enacting the prophecy right now that is on these things.
We have claws for a reason, he says.
Yeah.
And I like that he acknowledges that she also has her own claws.
Oh, for sure. Her claws, though, he does not approve of, as we see later, and he needs to fucking stuff it. So here
That's the only time you want to get like the little vinegar water bottle, you know, and like spray with it. And be like, Ethan, no,
bad dog,
bad, bad Lupus Day, bad. Sit.
So here comes Mr. Jiggly Pants, and he has his 4 dogs with him, and rides up and is like, "Oh, she's come back, the little Quim with the witch." And Ethan is trying to get up in his face a little bit, and he's just supremely unconcerned about him. And then, like, tells this little speech about how to keep dogs in line by feeding them with your own hand and making sure that they know that they can starve to death if you choose not to, by letting them watch their friends starve, which is awesome.
The only part I didn't like about this scene was that they green screened the dogs.
Did they?
And it's kind of obvious.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Is that I don't notice this stuff.
When the dog run up, that's legit. But when they're like standing in front of the horse, like it's green screened. And when like the dog's barking at Ethan, I think the only real dog is the one that's on the far left. I mean, real in like they're all real dogs, but I mean like
but
the
not
dog
really there. Yeah.
I think the only dog that's in the scene, with the horse and Jiggly Pants is that the most left hand dog. The other two, the one that's barking and the other one that's kind of looking like, is she gonna pop off? And I think the doggy smelled another doggy, which was Ethan.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that he was gonna like do some shit right in that moment.
Yeah, like he did at the zoo. Like I thought he was gonna be like, no, wait, hold up, I got this.
I thought that was going to be the whole point of him being like, hey, this is why I feed my dogs, and that he was going to be like, oh, looks like they don't like you as much as you thought. Yeah. But instead we just get this whole like weird monologue that I don't feel like means very much. Even though we see him like get attacked later, it still doesn't really make sense in context because that's witchcraft and has nothing to do with it. So I don't understand this monologue, if I'm honest.
Sure. But we know Vanessa wants revenge because she slams the table similar to what Natasha did. Earlier.
This was the worst. This is the first time in this show that I have been like, director, where are you? Like, her acting in this scene is bad. It's the first time I've really been like, what the fuck was that? Her turn around and smack on the table, it looks like she's trying not to laugh a little bit.
I know.
It feels really fake.
His soul has to burn like hers. Ugh.
Right? I swore I would be avenged. I'm like, no, don't use that word. Like, unless you're...
Oh, sorry.
No, so I was just going to say, unless you're like, you know, in ancient Japan or something. I feel like using the word avenged just always sounds so melodramatic as to completely rob your sentence of any sincerity. It just feels... So combining that with this table slam... Nah, son, I don't think so.
I also like how Ethan is the one that always drops F-bombs.
Yep.
Like, I've kind of been slowly, casually thinking, like, no one says fuck except Ethan. Mm-hmm. and he said it 2 times in, like, very short span of each other, and I think that's what made me notice it way more. But, like, I like that.
I do, too. I like when Ethan says fuck. Because I'm going to go back to stop talking now.
No. Talk about Ethan. Maggie.
No, look, here's the thing. I can't talk about this anymore because there are times in later seasons where he also says fuck that I enjoyed very much. So I'm just not going to talk about him saying fuck and how much I enjoy listening to him say fuck. And that's not a spoiler that he uses this word again. Yeah. But every time he says it, I laugh. And I'm like, he's good at saying it.
Can I confess something to you guys?
No, absolutely not.
So the last season, when I was like, I think 2 or 3 episodes in when I realized that it was the last season, because I think it, like I was not aware of that fact.
Okay.
And then when I did, I stopped completely. I didn't watch the rest of the season because I was sad because it was going to end.
I totally could see doing that. Yeah.
Because I'm that type. Like, I told you about how I stopped reading Harry Potter when Sirius Black died.
That's
and, like,
right.
I literally closed the book and I didn't continue. And, like, I never read the other ones. So it was kind of like that same emotional, like, no, I don't want this to end. And, like, so eventually I'm also going to be slightly unspoiled.
Oh, right on. I thought that you were going to rewatch it once we went on, but
I wanted to. I was like, oh, I could probably, tomorrow after my doctor's appointment, I'll like just like binge it. But then I was like, no, what if it would be cooler?
I think it's kind of interesting to have like one person who's watched it all the way, one person who's watched it almost all the way, and then one person who hasn't watched any of it.
Like, what do you think, Natasha? Would you be
No, yeah,
with
that's
that?
fine. I'm just surprised, that's all. But you can totally do it that way.
But I'm also insanely curious about the times when Ethan says fuck.
Okay, well, then fine. Then I'm just going to sit here and go, ha ha ha, I know things that you don't. It's seriously,
only
it's not
if
that
you laugh that way every time, Maggie.
No, it's every time he does it, it entertains me. Like there were a couple times where he says it, and I'm like, he's better at saying fuck than like half the other actors I've ever seen.
Yeah, in an accent.
He just delivers it real well.
In an accent too.
Yeah.
That like that's not his own, and he's very subtle with his accent too, which I like. And he fucking like when he says fuck, like it does sound like my grandfather saying fuck because he's from like the Texas area, which I think Ethan is from like that lower southwest area ish, like Oklahoma or like Arizona and Texas or some shit. And like so like he's doing a believable accent and he's he's able to cuss in that accent. That's pretty hot.
So they get into an argument with her being basically like, I want to murder his ass. He's like, no, you really should not do that because it's bad for your soul. And she's just like, fuck my soul. Who gives a shit? And he just goes, fine, do what the fuck you want then. And he runs out the door because he's mad. And then we cut to London. Feelings. And we have a Victor being moody because his lady wants to go out to dinner with Dorian. And she's like, you can tell me not to go if you don't want me to go. And
don't you want me to have friends? Mm-hmm.
Right?
Like,
he has a real like teary-eyed thing when she says, tell me not to go and I won't go. Like he really, really wants to tell her not to go. But he isn't going to be that guy. He would much rather she just give up her life voluntarily.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And finally, he's like, I'll get some work done while you're gone because you're just a terrible distraction. And she goes out with Dorian, who is just awful, and I hate him, and I want somebody to break his face. Mm-hmm. And
his baby face?
His stupid, dumb face. Where the fuck is Angelique? Huh?
Yeah.
You fucking
she's probably
bastard.
At home in that fucking mansion, and like she probably cooked a dinner.
He probably I'm sure. I bet that he told her that he was like going out for a meeting or something. He's fucking lying already. I bet.
Yeah. And he probably is like, oh, I have some shopping to do. I'm going to go pick you up something too, or some shit like that, Right. And of course she's going to love that. Because she's be like, oh my God, yay. Like, like, okay, I'll make a nice little thing at home and like all this other shit. And here he is at the fucking waxworks.
Waxworks with this girl who's like, oh God, oh, this is all, it's all,
I know. She's like,
oh my God.
She's like the epitome of like, like, playing up this weird like dumb blonde thing but Irish. I don't get it. Like
I don't even know if she's playing it up. Like it's hard for me to know what she's really like because we only ever see her in the context of the dudes around her. It's never her, so I'm not sure what's really how she feels and what isn't. And she's like
created in the image of a dude. So it's like fucking like we don't have Brona. We literally do have a completely different character.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And she's looking at this scene of these dudes digging up the corpses. What are these guys? Burks and something. They had a movie made about them. And he says something about doing experiments. And she asks what kind, and he says that he doesn't know. And as they walk away, there's Caliban hovering in the fucking shadows like a weirdo. And I guess because we haven't seen him around at all. So I'm guessing he isn't aware that she has a life that she's starting to live. And I'm going to go ahead and hazard a guess that he's not going to like it any better than Victor likes it.
He's probably going to bang up on Victor and be like, yo.
Probably. Like,
He'll be fine with it. I'm sure it'll be fine. No.
That's the thing. Fucking Caliban is like, I want a woman who's beautiful. And I'm like, well, so do lots and lots of men. So I hope that you're ready to, deal with that. But apparently he is not ready to deal with that. So she gets put into a carriage by, what's his face? And
Dorian.
That's the one. I wanted to call him Gideon. How weird is that?
That's not that far off. Dorian and Gideon.
Yeah, I don't know. But he watches her pull away with this sort of like smitten expression. Because he doesn't even try and kiss her. He kisses her hand. And I'm like, I don't like where this is going. And then we go to Vanessa pulling that fucking book out.
The evil book that the Cutwife warned her about.
Yep. This book was not supposed to be used unless she felt surrounded and like she had no other choice. Mm-hmm. But she's using this book because she's mad at a guy. And
she's mad.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The world is a better place without this piece of shit in it. I'm not going to dispute that.
But
right.
He's just so protective of her because he's like, I'm already fucked. Mm-hmm. So like, I've already sinned. So it's too late for me. But if I can, keep this woman I love safe, then I'll just go kill this guy. Because what do I care?
Yeah, because you see Ethan stroll up in his sweater.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just go kill him. Fuck it.
Yeah,
but like he couldn't have told her that. He couldn't have just been like, you don't need to do the witchcraft thing, honey. I'll just go shoot him and we'll be good. It'll be fine. Really.
But I don't think she would have wanted it to be that way. She wants to do it.
She wants to do it. Yeah, I know. She's real petty.
I like.
No, it's not. It's like legit vengeance. It's understandable. The guy's the worst.
Yeah.
But
I just, and also with Ethan like wanting, it's like, I wish that they had talked about this a little bit more because, the whole thing is the whole worry here is that she is fighting against Satan for her soul. Mm-hmm. And we're framing her murdering this guy as a damage to her soul that is like hypothetical or just sort of a spiritual thing and not a very literal like open door for something to get in. And that's what I feel like we were missing a little here in the conversation is that this is an actual like concern in your everyday life when you're sleeping and when you're awake that you are going to be taken over by a being that wants to wreak havoc and murder and whatever. Why isn't that part of the conversation? We're just talking about it the way that anybody would talk about committing murder, that it's wrong, that it'll like ruin you, that you won't be able to live with the guilt. It's all in hypotheticals, but this is a very different type of person. And I feel like the conversation should be very different. Mm-hmm. And the fact that her mentor said, if you do that, if you use this book, you have turned away from God. I like
if you're going to do that, you might as well just fuck Ethan at that point. Like seriously, what are you fighting against, lady?
Yeah, That's kind of where I was. I'm like, I'm apparently not understanding this then, or the show is just wildly inconsistent with what it decides is going to be an issue.
Well, if I kill a guy, I could get possessed by the demon. But if I fuck Ethan, I might get possessed by a demon. I would choose to go down by getting fucked.
Right? And then see what happens. And if you still have time, then you might as well just go kill the guy too.
Mm-hmm.
So you could multitask.
Afterthought, possibly go kill that guy once I'm possessed. Yeah,
I'm guessing the demon that possesses her will be fine with it. Yeah, go murder that guy. It's not a problem.
So. Fun fact: the dogs that Jiggly Pants has are Belgian Malinois. Just so you know.
Oh, my friend from high school had a Malinois. It was a really sweet dog. They're actually not necessarily like super aggressive and nasty. They can be kind of weird.
Yeah. All dogs are if they're trained to be, yes. Yeah. But for most shows, they are just trained to do like a nasty face. And
then are total sweethearts off the set.
Yeah, and then you give them kisses, and doggies are the best things in the world. And you know what? I would not be bad. Like I would not call that dog a bad dog for chewing up fucking Jiggly Pants.
These dogs are the shit. These dogs the attack is pretty brutal. Like I kind of thought it was going to look goofy, and I was preparing myself to be okay with it looking goofy when it happened. And I was a little startled at how fucking hardcore it is to watch a pack of dogs rip a man apart.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
And then juxtaposed with like Vanessa gyrating. Like I feel bad because I think she's like in a way like she's possessing the dogs, and that kind of feels sad because I'm like, even the dogs can't really get their own revenge because I'm sure they're really fucking pissed off being like, this dude's dog. But like I think she's possessing all of them, and because you see her her guttural snarling and all that shit, like it's fucking weird what she does. And I think juxtapose that with like the ripping apart of this dude, and I for legit thought that like it was gonna be CGI again, all that shit. No, I think they actually got like a dude and like did the dummy thing, and like it was good. They did a good job.
And she like collapses after and starts crying, and Ethan's just sitting there like with his gun raised and realizing what she's doing, and he goes home in a mood because he knows what she did.
He's stern and probably wants to give someone a spanking.
She wishes. We all wish. Jinx. So here goes Lily, and she's in her little handsome cab heading home, and she's like, hey, actually, would you mind stopping right here at this rando bar? And she goes into this bar, and I'm like, what is she fucking doing? And she totally goes with the first dude to talk to her, which I can't help but laugh. When she walks in, this like the second time that I saw this episode, she walks in and there are what look to be 30 of the same dude filling this bar. Like it's all guys with side-combed white hair and mustaches and ruddy faces and hunting jackets. And I'm just like, why? I can't even remember which one of these guys she winds up talking to because they all look like him.
They're all the same guy.
Yeah.
They're all the nondescript older gentlemen with like facial hair.
Yep. And she sits down and this guy gives her big ol' eyes, and she takes a minute before she smiles, and then she does, because I wasn't sure exactly what she was looking for, so I didn't know how she would react. And he brings her home, and he starts making out with her, and it's just like, dude, ugh. I can't. She's just too goddamn young for you, man. And she goes with it, and they're fucking, and he's like on top of her, and she shoves him over and gets on top herself, and he seems real down with it until she puts her hands around his throat and begins to choke him out. And multiple things. One, apparently no dude minds that she has no body temperature.
Like, apparently.
Not a problem for any of these guys.
How is that not something somebody would work? That's what I said. Dan, the episode where you missed, I was like, wouldn't it be like sticking your dick in a packet of chicken cutlets?
Oh my God.
Like, I would imagine it's gotta be like slimy and ice cold, right? Like,
and she's super strong.
Yeah.
And, like,
so
like how, like when she, I'm surprised, like, you know, like in the superhero movies where we always have like that scene where like they get their superpowers and like they can't judge their strength, so they like knock a sink over or some shit, or like bust through a wall or some shit. I don't know. I'm like labeling things. Why isn't she possibly doing that? If she can choke a whole, like a grown man out with that, has a thick neck, and like, I don't know.
My wife has a thick neck. Sorry. That is a 30 Rock callback. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually a fat neck, I think. I don't like, see, it's interesting that you say that though, because I didn't interpret that as her being particularly strong. I interpreted that as her getting this guy at a moment when he was real vulnerable and not prepared to fight back in any way.
I think she's really strong too, because we've seen that Caliban's really strong.
Yeah.
So it would kind of go along with that she's able to choke him at with what looks like relative ease.
Oh
yeah, she's not working real hard at it.
When did we see Caliban being strong?
When he ripped through the first guy that you liked and were super sad about.
Oh yeah,
ripped
I guess.
him in half.
Yeah,
that's pretty strong.
That's like strong. Okay, like he ripped Van Helsing in half.
You did rip Van Helsing in half. Yeah, he's strong.
Was Van Helsing.
Yeah, I guess
I'm talking about when he ripped through. What was the guy's name? The second guy that
Proteus.
Fucking Adam. Yeah. Oh God. See, now I forgot. I was thinking Van Helsing.
It was Proteus because remember he said that Adam was too on the nose. He was like, Proteus. No, I'm not going to do that.
That's right.
But I like Adam because fucking I'm not Victor. Okay.
Okay, so she's super strong, so she's choking him out. I imagine, and I have nothing to back this up, but what I'm thinking is that she is going to cut this guy up because she has this weird thing now that she's seen the waxworks where she wants to do like medical experiments for no good reason. Which, let's be honest, there is nobody better for Victor than her now. And now that this has happened, match made in heaven. She can go out and murder people, bring them home, and he'll cut them up, and it'll be great. Perfect. And I'm wondering if she's going to get caught at all because of Caliban, because he saw her with I wanted to say Damien that time, with Dorian. I don't know if maybe he followed her out or what, but I feel like for some reason, I don't think this is going to go on a long time before somebody starts to figure out what's happening. And I don't like, has it not started to bother her that other people are warm and she's not? Can she tell that other people are warm and she's not? Is that part of why she's like kind of interested in this scientific experiment thing? Because she's like, clearly there's something that's different about me. I don't know.
And those big scars on her too. So
right?
There's that.
Yeah. Although he could just say that the scars are from her accident, which has been real vague, you know. I don't know. I don't know what they've said to her.
They haven't said anything about the scars, but you see them in this scene very clearly from, under her underwear or her undergarment. And they're so symmetrical. If she was paying particularly close attention to the waxworks, I'm assuming the waxworks probably, like, if they showed anybody being actually cut up for experimentation, it would look an awful lot like the scars that she is currently sporting. So, I mean, not having seen every single one of the waxworks, I'm just saying,
I wonder...
it would make me suspicious. I don't know.
I wonder, like, you hit like a really good point that I never thought of, Natasha, where like, what if she's unaware how warm everyone is? And so like when everyone comments on like, oh, like you're so cold, like she's just kind of like, I guess that's what people just say. I don't know. Like to not like almost like, you know, like if someone was blind and like you know, a sighted person was just like, oh yeah, you know, it's really cloudy outside, and the like, what the fuck's the blind person supposed to say? I guess like, so like I like, you know, like not having that sense of like, or like literally a sense of being like, well, okay, I guess I am like, or is this a thing that people say, you know, like that kind of thing, like, and her not having the context of it. I do wonder.
Yeah, I don't know how her nerve endings work because she wants to have sex, so it feels like she can feel things. It doesn't seem, you know.
So fuck.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure where she stands on all of that. What she can tell and what she can't, and what the motivation is for this, because it seems really sudden. And let's not lie to ourselves. If Dorian knew that she was going out and murdering random dudes that she was in the middle of fucking, he would be even more in love with her than he already is. Because that's the kind of creepy shit that he would be all like, oh, that's new. You freak. Yeah, I'm judging you. All right. So back to our happy couple out in the country, in their country house. Ethan comes home and pushes right past Vanessa and puts his gun away. And she's like, so you went to kill him? And he's like, yeah, but I guess you knew that, didn't you? And I didn't have to do it. And he really gets in her face because she says, I know what I've done. And he says, do you? Do you know what it is to carry someone's body hanging around your neck for the rest of your goddamn life? And I was like, that is a really awesome way to say that. I really liked that one a lot. Do you know what it is to carry someone's body around your neck for the rest of your goddamn life? Man. Ouch. So then he says the thing that James Bond learns, that the first time is hard, and the second time is easier, and the third time is nothing. You don't blink. You're alive and they're dead. Fuck them. And she gets a little rattled when he says that and tells him to stop. And he says, you'll never get your soul back. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, see, this is the part that we kind of should have talked about. Right? But we just never really explored what that looks like. And the last line of the episode is, welcome to the night, Vanessa. And that is the end. Damn, son. Yeah, I'm like, I just find it so weird that wasn't talked about. I don't know. Is that just me? You get what I'm saying. No,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I feel like that should be like the forefront. That would be the thing that I'd be so paranoid about, is if like, and maybe that's just part, I don't know, but just being a good person beyond what I would think is expected of me, just on the off chance that would help keep me from getting possessed, you know? Everybody's very,
I love that you're like,
okay, so that's the end of the episode. So I'm gonna say hi to patrons now.
Hi, patrons.
What's up?
Hi, patrons.
We only have 3 new patrons this week. We have Danielle Tyson, Jessica Goddard, and Lucifer.
Whoa. Whoa.
Lucifer's here.
Shit.
Welcome
like
to all of you delightful new patrons. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. And I hope that you guys will register on unspoiledpodcast.com to get access to patrons-only content. I'm covering Twin Peaks currently with Miss Maggie Bensby.
Yep.
And we are also covering Sherlock, me and Rashawn, once a month. So those are the patrons-only things right now. And then this month's book club for May is going to be... May 6th, I believe, is the date. And let me double check that. And it's going to be The Girl with All the Gifts is the book club. let's see, May 6th at 7 p.m. Central Time. And it is live on Crowdcast. The one that I just recorded for April was Ready Player One, and that was super fun. If you guys are looking for a story to get lost in, that is not like, I don't want to say it's not political, because there's a little bit of that sprinkled in there, but it really gets your mind off everything. And it has an ending where, like, we're victorious against evil and whatever, but in a modern way that feels fun. It is just a fun book that just, it's a breath of fresh air, especially after having like several books in a row that were dark as fuck. So thank you guys for suggesting that one. And I'm really looking forward to Girl with All the Gifts, which is like probably, I think, the one that was upvoted the most on the list. So Girl with All the Gifts, May 6th. And I think that was all I wanted to mention this time. Dan, would you like to do a plug?
Dan?
Oh, sorry. Okay, I was legitimately, so I had a birthday recently.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Right.
I am not.
I don't know. I haven't been like seeing anybody's birthday things on Facebook. I'm missing everybody's birthday this year. I'm sorry.
That's fine. But this directly relates to you. Watch, it's gonna take a little trip, but so I got myself a new Fitbit, the Blaze, and so I was trying to answer back Natasha's little join the challenge for the work week shit, and it's all full. So I was like, and I didn't realize that. I kept trying to like join, yes, join. I want to join, and like then I read at the very bottom, was like, oh, this is full. And I was like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I basically invite everybody and just see who shows up first.
Yeah. So I have to be quick on that fucking draw then next time. But yeah, that was it. And Rachel and I are still figuring stuff out. But if you do want to go to visit highschool420.wordpress.com to listen to some episodes of High School with Dan and Rachel. It's where I get high and I learn about things. And one of the episodes is about lightning, which I'm afraid of still, especially after learning about it.
Freaky.
Yeah, seriously.
Lightning is basically like just some otherworldly being standing above you with a sword, just stabbing downwards, and you just never know when it's going to hit you.
Or a hammer.
I'm
sorry, I had to.
No, that's totally fair. It didn't even occur to me, weirdly. It's really? So much more sword-like. I'm surprised it wasn't a sword.
I'm surprised because he has fucking chest hair.
That's true. That's a pretty man. Anyway, I'm getting distracted again. Maggie, is there anything that you would like to plug, madam?
Not right now, I don't think. I'm not sure when we're going to end up scheduling a time to finish our What's Going with Owen read of the new X-Men with Anton. I'm not sure when that might be able to work out. And I know you guys are trying to do some catch up on some podcasts
some
which haven't been able to get to for a while.
Podcasts. Oh my god.
So I'm not sure when we're going to be doing another What's Going with Owen and Maggie, but you can certainly follow us on Facebook because we post stuff. Every now and then one of us will go on a little like Tumblr binge, and we definitely still have all our episodes up on iTunes to listen to. And the one we did about Logan with Krista as our guest host was actually really, really fun. I think people will enjoy listening to that.
Nice.
You'll want to have seen Logan first. Otherwise, it will not be enjoyable for you. Yeah. I don't know why you would think that would be a good thing to listen to if you hadn't seen Logan, but just in case, you know.
I mean, I definitely listen to movie podcasts about movies that I've never seen. So
yeah.
If you want a man with chest hair, also go see Logan.
Logan. Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, just go see Logan. Like you don't even need. Just go see it.
I was just like. Earlier today, I was listening to Complete Guide to Everything, and they were talking about the new Archie show, which I have not seen.
I have not seen it either.
And I, as a longtime former Archie fan, I don't know if I can do that show.
Yeah,
it's like blasphemy. I can't. Like Archie's fucking Miss Grundy. No. Even though they made her like young, hot Miss Grundy, still no. Just no. Okay, done. That's all.
Well, he was talking about like his friend was like, well, you know, don't spoil it. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, I'm going to spoil everything. And he just like moves right along. I'm like, well, all right then, noted.
Well, the thing I just said is literally like the first thing that happens in the first episode. This is not anything that comes. It's totally a rehash of the old like Pacey sleeps with his teacher plot on Dawson's Creek a zillion years ago, which was also like the first thing that ever happened on that show. And I'm like, how can you literally just completely do Dawson's Creek again, but with Archie characters? That bothers me. I have a problem with this show.
Apparently,
I've never
Maggie
seen
has
it.
Feelings, guys.
I've never seen it. I don't think I'm ever going to see it, but I'm just going to say I don't like it.
Okay.
And that's all. That's all.
Well,
I like that they've made Jughead asexual.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember. I saw that too.
Yeah, that's like a big thing
on the show. So, and the new Jughead comic books are actually quite good, and they're written by Chip Zdarsky, who's like my favorite comics writer because he's a weirdo. So feel free to read the Jughead comic books, but Riverdale show.
Oh, and I met Gail Simone. And shook her hand, so that was cool.
Oh, did you tell her? No, I'm sure you didn't. But like, didn't. How much I tell everybody to read Clean Room because it's so good.
Nope, sure didn't.
Yeah, you gotta read that. It's so good. Okay, this is my like tiny mini what's going with Owen and Maggie without Owen being here. But everybody go read Clean Room by Gail Simone because it's real weird and it's real dark and it's real good if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, Owen told her that she was getting him back towards DC for the first time in ages, and she honestly seemed to be very touched by that. Like, she really was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. She was very friendly, but seemed quite exhausted, and there was a mouth breather chewing her ear off for a while before we got to talk to her, so I kind of could see why that would be.
Yeah. It was nice of you to take it easy on her.
Yeah, I was just like, it's awesome to meet you. And Owen said something in front of her about following her on Twitter. And I was like, I totally do already, buddy. And then mentioned the person who tried to tell her about Deadpool in line.
Oh my God, that was the funniest thing.
And I was like, and you know, you were trying to say that it wasn't a big deal, but everybody got very upset about it. And she was like, yeah, she said, I have a feeling that I might be having another story like that soon. And I was like, oh, no. Okay. Well, that's everything. Thank you both for being here this evening. I really appreciate it. And I'm really excited to see next week because I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Mm-hmm. I've got no idea. Like, I never really do, but this is it. We've gone in an especially weird direction now, so... Yeah.
I think we still get some Ethan sweater.
Was this episode 7? Is next week episode 8?
Correct.
Is that right?
Okay. Yes.
All right.
It is, yes. I think we still get some Ethan sweater. I'm hoping, Maggie, I am holding you indeed to that fucking report. If you don't think I will, I'm putting a note on my goddamn phone.
I'm gonna see if my husband's awake when I go upstairs.
Okay.
That might be the.
I put the notification. I put the notification on my phone, okay. and my Fitbit Blaze will tell me also.
Okay. I'm just saying, if I go upstairs and I'm like, honey, I have to do some research. I have to watch all the scenes where Josh Hartnett has no clothes on. He might just be like, can you do that when I'm not home? Can that not be a thing that's happening right now?
That's fine. So, I don't need it like immediately. I just like by the end of the week.
Oh, but if I don't do it immediately, I'll forget. Believe me. So okay. I'll do it if he's asleep. Otherwise, Natasha can hit me over the head again tomorrow when we talk about Twin Peaks.
Will do.
Yes.
You know me. I'm happy to.
Oh yeah. Yep.
If it's about Josh Hartnett, we're gonna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week with a new episode. Toodaloo, motherfuckers. was an Unspoiled Network podcast.